She wrote my mom a letter. You almost went to jail. Mrs. Brown decides to open my stall. It's wide open. Talk about messy. And to think that I went through what I'm about to tell y'all at a Christian private school. Hello, welcome back to another video, guys. If this is your first time ever seeing my face, hey girl, hey, my name is Miss Nadia and you're gonna love it here. If this is not your first time ever seeing my face, welcome back and welcome to another Storytime Saturday. I'm thinking about calling these videos Storytime Saturdays because they are story times and I post them on Saturdays, but low-key I'm thinking about maybe sit down Saturdays because honestly I want to do not only story times, but I also want to do sit down videos, whether it's like girl talk or you guys, you know, send in things that you want me to talk about, because y'all know I'm a certified yapper and like I love to vlog, but sitting down just talking to a camera, just relaxing, you know, having a little sippy sip, whatever, that's my vibe. But before we get in today's video, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. I know right now we're over 100, but I just want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support. And that may be small to some people, but it's like I'm 100 steps closer to where I'm trying to be and where I'm trying to go. And it's like I know it's gonna be a time where I'm gonna look back on this and be like, oh my God, look how far I have came. And I thank you guys so much because like I told y'all, I'm living my childhood dream and love you. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So before we get into these stories, disclaimer, all names in these stories have been changed. We are going to be discreet. I'm not telling you the schools. I'm not telling you none of that, okay? And this is not to bash or whatever case may be. I just want to tell these stories because looking back on them, I just feel like it's a part of my life story and it just shows how resilient and strong I am. And I hope that this comforts anybody that have been through any crazy situations in school or, you know, just been through crazy things in life. So story number one. This is the very first traumatic thing that I have ever been through in school. And ironically, it was my first year ever going to school. Oh my gosh. So flashback. So 2006, I was 4 years old. I started school. Hold on. How old was I? 2006, when I started school, I was 3. I had not turned 4 yet, right? So during that time, me and my mom, we had moved to Northern Virginia, right? That's like the Woodbridge area, Washington, D.C., almost, you know, Richmond area, if you guys are, you know, familiar with Virginia. And so we moved up there and we lived there for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, right? And so my mom was like, you know what? You're a smart child. It's time to get you in school. So I started K3. And so I was in a private school. And if anybody know anything about private schools are totally different than public schools. Like it's a totally different, you know, experience as far as the curriculum goes, how they do things. And mind you, this was a Christian private school. And to think that I went through what I'm about to tell y'all at a Christian freaking private school is insane, right? So the two teachers that I had, we're gonna call them Miss Green and Miss Chelsea, right? Miss Green and Miss Chelsea. So at my school, we learned everything. So we learned Spanish, we were learning Bible verses, we were learning everything at 3 years old. Which, side note, guess what my first Bible verse was? And I still remember this Bible verse still to this day, and I feel like it was none but God. Like, this is like my testimony that I even have this as my first Bible verse. I feel like it's just so ironic. My first Bible verse was, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Amen. Amen. Okay? Because what a Bible verse. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And so I was like one of the smartest kids in school. But as a child, I had a habit. I had this one habit since before I was even born. And the habit was sucking my thumb. And ironically, this nail, I had broke it and I ended up just taking it off because it looked crazy. This was the exact thumb that I sucked, okay? And so being that, you know, I'm still a child, like I'm still a baby, I'm 3 years old, and like, you know, I have this habit, and while I'm in school, I'm sucking my thumb too. I'm getting my work done, but you know, I'm also like, you know how some people take cigarette breaks? Yeah, I needed a thumb break to decompress. And so I remember when I was in school, or just in general, people used to always say something about me, you know, sucking my thumb. If you look at my teeth, who sucked their thumb? Who sucked their thumb? Like, look at that. Anywho, so yeah, I remember in school, like, or in life in general, people used to always say stuff about me sucking my thumb. But of course, me being in school, teachers used to say things as well. I remember Miss Chelsea used to always say stuff about me sucking my thumb, which I'm a child, like, bruh, like, if you have a that's just like y'all that smoke these vapes. When you get that itch, you can't shake it. Like, you have to handle your business. And in my case, I had to suck my thumb. No freaking diddy. And so I remember this particular day, I assumed she was just fed up. She was fed up with this little 3-year-old child doing her work like she normally do. And she was tired of this child sucking her thumb in school. So I remember she had pulled me out of class, right? And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember exactly what we was doing in class this day, but I remember she pulled me out of class and she had some scissors in her hand. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so apparently this was almost 20 years ago. So I don't remember her exact words, but basically she was trying to scare me by saying she was going to cut my thumb off, right? But her scaring me actually cut my thumb and I started bleeding. From my memory, I feel like she kind of started to panic a little bit. And so she take me back into the classroom and, you know, she just puts a Band-Aid on my thumb. Mind you, I still have the scar on my thumb still to this day. Like, look at that. I still have the scar on my thumb. Still, you probably can't hardly see it because of the lighting, but I still have the scar on my thumb still to this day, right? And so she put a Band-Aid on my thumb and we just go about the school day. And so my mom comes to pick me up and, you know, she's looking at my hand like, what happened to your hand? Why you got a Band-Aid on? And I tell her, I was like, Miss Chelsea cut my thumb. Imagine you're a parent and you're saying that a teacher has basically assaulted your child. A teacher has assaulted your child. Like I said, I'm 4 years old, well, three and a half, 4 years old at the time. So I don't really understand the multitude of this situation, right? So same day, I think like the same day or the next day, my mom, you know, gets in contact with the principal, get the teachers involved, let them know, you know, what happened. And my mom was about to sue, but she had prepaid legal, and apparently they was like, well, it was really nothing that they could do. See, you know, times have changed, because if this was on TikTok back then, this is like 2006, 2007, I think it probably would have broke the freaking internet. But anywho, so yeah, the teacher ends up getting fired, and then if I'm not mistaken, I think her teacher license was taken away also, right? And I know y'all wondering, like, she got that mad over a child sucking their thumb that she decides to assault them. You know, like, I'm one of those people where I feel like everything always comes from something. Like, people just don't come up with stuff out of thin air. Guess what the connection was? Guess what she was really mad about? When we finally figured this out, it was insane. Turns out Miss Chelsea used to date my uncle years ago. My mom didn't even remember her. She just thinking this is just my teacher. No, this girl used to date my uncle years ago. That's what she was really mad at. Talk about messy. Talk about messy. You almost went to jail because you got mad over a relationship. Oh my God. Like, really? Like, that is insane. That, like, she basically cut my thumb. And like, I still have the scar. So every day when I'm looking at my hands, I am reminded of that. I am reminded of that situation. Lemon water, my waist gonna be gone. Y'all, and to think that that's story number one. And the crazy thing is, these stories that I'm telling y'all, I have never really talked about these stories really to anybody. Like, the only people that know these stories are like close family friends. Close family friends and family. That is it. And the fact that I'm sharing this to the internet where potentially thousands of people can potentially see this, it just shows how unhinged I am. Like, oh my God. That was story number one. And if y'all think that story was crazy, I got something that I think may top that one. Let's get into story number two. Let's flash forward. So we was in 2006, 2007. Let's flash forward until 2011. So 2011, I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I was in the 4th grade at this time, right? And for all my parents out there that pack their kids' lunch every single morning, kudos to y'all. Kudos to y'all, right? And so I was one of those kids where sometimes I would pack lunch, or sometimes my mom would, you know, give me money to, you know, buy lunch at school, just, you know, depending on the day. And so this particular day, I ended up bringing leftovers from dinner to school. Shout out to my mom for cooking, right? But guess what I decided to bring for my lunch? I want y'all to guess what home cooked meal my mom decides to pack me. I brought chitlins, collard greens, yams, and cornbread for my lunch. If that's not a black person's lunch, what in the world? And I don't want to preface this and say I don't eat the swine anymore. So that's behind me. I'm not Muslim, but Assalamu alaikum, I don't mess with the pork, okay? I'm nasty. Nasty. I changed my ways. I was a child. I didn't know. I swallowed it up. No diddy. Put the hot sauce, whatever. That was my lunch. And so at my school, well, elementary school to be exact, you know, parents used to come and eat lunch with their kids all the time. Like my mom, she would come eat lunch with me like 2 to 3 times a week, whether, you know, I'm just eating my regular lunch, or most of the time, like, she would bring food, like whether it's like fast food, food from a restaurant. Like, so I remember she even brought me sushi for lunch one day, and we sat down and ate it. Anyway, side note. Anywho, so yeah, this particular day, I packed my lunch or whatever. So I'm sitting at the table eating my food, and so my classmate, Brittany, and her mom, Mrs. Brown, was obviously at the lunch table too. And so lunch is over, and so normally every day after lunch we would go, you know, to the bathroom. And this particular day I had substitutes, and the reason why I say substitutes instead of substitute is because both of my teachers were out that day. So when I was in the 4th grade, you know, I was kind of smart, still is. I was kind of like on the smart hallway, well, side of the hallway, I guess you can say. And so we had 2 teachers. So we had one teacher that taught English, and then we had another teacher in a whole nother classroom that taught the math, science, social studies, that kind of thing. So I believe my English teacher is the one that used to take us to lunch, if I'm not mistaken. And so we normally would sit down in front of like this mural to wait for everyone to go to the bathroom. So we have the mural here, we got the lunchroom, and then here was the girls' bathroom. And then on the other side, you had the mural, the boys' bathroom, and then the gym. So everybody, you know, go their separate ways, go to the bathroom. And so all of my classmates and I, we go into the bathroom. I noticed that my stomach's starting to hurt. You just ate chitlins. I wonder freaking why. I'm like, okay, I feel like I gotta take a poop. And so I remember in the bathroom, it was like 5 different stalls. And so we had the mini stalls, and then at the very end, we had like the handicap big stall. It had the, you know, toilet, and it also had a sink and like a mirror to wash your hands. And I'm like, I feel like I gotta handle some real business. So I'm getting in this big stall. Back then with the bathroom stalls, I'll never forget. They were like a circle, and it had like a slit in it or whatnot. I want you to keep that in mind. So it's like you had to turn it to actually lock it. I get in the bathroom, you know, pull my pants down, sit on the toilet or whatnot. I remember hearing my classmates, you know, in the bathroom talking, everybody using the bathroom. And then I also remember all of a sudden, I was hearing Brittany's mom, Mrs. Brown, in the bathroom, which I'm like, no problem. I mean, parents come in the bathroom, you know, all the time. And so I'm sitting down doing my freaking business, and my freaking stall just opens out of nowhere. I remember hearing keys, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So apparently, Brittany's mom, Mrs. Brown, decides to open my stall. It's wide open. Wide open. And then all of a sudden she says, hey everybody, look at Nadia. She has Hershey squirts. What the heck is that? I've never heard of that since then. Like, what the heck does that even mean? I guess because I was taking a poop. But anywho, she was like, hey everybody, look at Nadia. Nadia has Hershey squirts. And all of my classmates are watching me use the freaking bathroom. So I'm honestly just sitting here. Obviously I can't do nothing. Obviously, I'm just sitting here. And so I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so like I said, all of my classmates are looking at me use the bathroom. And at the time, you know, I had 2 good friends. We're gonna name them Tanisha and Ann. Tanisha and Ann, right? And so I remember seeing them run out the bathroom. Apparently, they had ran and told the substitute what was going on. They was like, you know, they told me after the fact, they was like, you know, Mrs. Brown is in Nadia's bathroom stall or whatnot. And apparently the substitute did not believe what they were saying. She didn't believe, like, I guess she thought they were joking or something. I'm still in the bathroom stall or whatever. And then she just ended up closing the stall, and that was that. I'm just thinking to myself, what the heck just happened to me? Like, what just happened? Seriously. So I get out the bathroom stall, wash my hands, whatever, go back to class. That day, it was just a lot going on. So that happened. Then I had to stay after school. I think it was like STEM robotics or some type of club I was doing. And we also had got report cards that day, so I got honor roll. And so when my mom came to pick me up from school, I was like, Mom, I got honor roll. You know, we happy. And, you know, she, you know, takes me out to dinner, and we had went and seen a good family friend at the NOB Navy Exchange base or whatnot. And so that same day we had Bible study. So it was just so much going on. Like, my mom always asked me, how was your day at school? Always asked me that. And because like that whole situation was like a shock, I forgot to tell her about that. So we get home from Bible study or whatever. This is a Tuesday, by the way. And so I'm in the shower, and all of a sudden it just hit me. Everything that just happened, like that whole situation hit me all at once. And so I'm in the shower, and I'm like, hey Mom, guess what happened at school today? And she's like, what? Miss Brown came into my bathroom stall, and she showed all my friends me using the bathroom. Imagine you as a parent hearing that from your child. I would have started a riot. Anywho, so I tell her that, and obviously she's in shock. She's like, what did you just say? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, okay, finish taking your bath. We talk about it when you get out. So I tell her what happened. Obviously, she, you know, calls my nana, tell her what done happened. And then she called her best friend at the time, told her what happened. So next day is Wednesday. My mom ends up calling my principal, tells her, you know, what happened. She talked to my guidance counselor, told her what happened. And so that day, I didn't come to school on time. I came to school a little late. That same day, we had a meeting with my principal. And then we also had a meeting with my guidance counselor. It was 2 separate meetings. So after, you know, we had a meeting with the principal and all of that, my mom ends up getting law enforcement involved. A couple of days later, we have a meeting at my local magistrate office. I think that's how you say it, magistrate? Yeah. And so I remember this day like it was yesterday. So I remember we went in there. I told them what happened. And they end up telling us, well, because Miss Brown did not touch you, she did not take pictures, there's really nothing that we could do. What do you mean there's nothing that you can do? So you're telling me if I would have lied and said this woman touched me, then it's a whole nother thing. But you know, I was an honest child and I did not lie. We're still trying to press the issue, but obviously law enforcement don't want to really do anything. We end up having another meeting with my principal, which I guess you could say we kind of got results with that, because she ended up having that parent, Mrs. Brown, permanently banned from all schools in my area. Meaning she could not attend any school events, none of that. But guess what? She wrote a letter. She wrote my mom a letter. Still have the letter still to this day. So this is not the like original copy. My mom made copies of it because she wrote it on paper. So it's like, that was over 10 years ago. So by now that paper would have been ruined and soiled. So I'm gonna read y'all this letter. This is my first time ever reading this ever. And well, as an adult reading this, so, and really being able to like understand. So here goes nothing. So she says, I realize I did something extremely bad, and to the one you love, your daughter. I really did not mean to do any harm, but I did. It was wrong of me. It was very stupid of me for being the grown adult also. I'm extremely sorry for the pain I have caused to your daughter and to yourself. I really feel very bad for what I have done, and I am hurt and I am upset at myself for the things I have done. I know it will be a hard thing to ask for, but I would like to ask for your forgiveness someday, and would like to face you to apologize to you and your daughter. She really is a cool girl. I have been put off school property and can't even come to see my own daughter in her assembly or award ceremony for any achievements. I do deserve to be punished for the stupid thing I have done, but maybe with some good behavior, be allowed to see my own daughter's achievements and award ceremonies. Again, I am truly sorry for the pain I have caused. I am not a really bad person or mother. I'm a very protective mom and would never hurt a child. I help when I'm needed. Please forgive my stupidness. Thank you. This is from 11/17/2011. Girl, what the heck? Looking back on this as an adult, if this would happen to my child, you would have been lucky if you've been able to write a letter. Like, bro, I'm telling y'all, when it comes down to school, I have been through many things in school. It's like, not only have I had bullying like situations with kids, but it's like I have been bullied by teachers, and I have been bullied by parents. Like, is my aura that strong? Like, I've had aura since a child. I feel like it's amazing that I can even talk about this, not cry, not be hurt or anything like that. It definitely goes back to that Bible verse, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I feel like everybody has some form of like life story or stories that have happened in their lives. And I just hope that not only did you find some kind of entertainment in this, but I hope that this video, if there's anybody out there that has went through any bullying or harassment or any crazy situations in life, I hope that this video resonates with you, gave you any kind of comfort to know that you are not alone. Everybody has a story. Everybody has went through something, and share your story. Like, if you feel comfortable with talking about it and it's like you have healed, you have moved on, talk about it, because it's like you never know who it could help, who it could, make somebody else feel not alone. And that's the point of this video. Like, I just honestly, I was like, you know what, let me share this. I'm not gonna lie, I was very, very nervous coming on camera and sharing those traumatic things. Like, but anywho, that is the end of today's video. I thank you guys so much for all of the endless support that you guys continue to show me. And definitely comment down below. Let's continue this conversation. If you have any thoughts, any opinions, anybody that's been through anything similar, definitely comment down below. Let me know and let's start a conversation. Like I always say, you are the star in any room that you stand in. And I just thank you guys so much. Bye.